Joey Reese, Pickle Boot Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joey Reese, Pickle Boot Shop. Pickle time is happening. Pickle time. I go down to get some pickles.
With your grandma and your kids.
I go downtown.
With your grandma and your kids.
Boot time. Pickle and boot time. Don't be fickle, get your pickle cider, pop a nickel in your boots. Not a place of ill repute. Bring your grandma and your kids. Come for the pickles, stay for the squids.
Pickle and boot shop.
Stay for the squids. Boots.
Pickle time.
Put that pickle in your pants. Get some boots inside your hands. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some boots inside your hands.
1996, we start this.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Pickle and the Boot Shops. I'm
Wow, what?
Reese Roper with your other host, Joseph Allen Yerke. Is that it?
Yeah, no, you're getting a lot better at this. It's only taken 3 years.
I know. I just yell.
Yeah.
I yell into the microphone.
Yeah,
Thanks for editing that, Daniel. Which, by the
Yeah,
way, the last time we podcasted, we threw Daniel under the bus so hard, and he did not deserve it at all. We're like, wait, it looks like Daniel's giving away Patreon memberships, but apparently you can sign up for like a friend thing, like you're friends of Patreon, but not paying money. And then, I don't know.
I like thinking of it better that he's just running his own pickle and boot empire.
He's like, I have
remember
permission.
remember when we had that one guy who like we weren't allowed to talk about him? Who like edited our stuff for like
yeah.
that thing that we did?
You're on
we were
Rock
like-
Candy Network.
Yeah, Rock Candy, and there was like some guy that we would like bust his balls.
He was the
and like with
intern.
us, yeah, with anybody who like kind of knows us or listens to our show for 10 minutes realizes we don't take anything seriously. And if you're making fun of somebody, it's because you appreciate them or you love them. And the dude like goes to like HR and like complain.
We got some notes from HR. They'd be like, "Hey, you don't talk about that guy. It's not. He's doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He's trying to learn." We're like,
Yeah, we were like, you know what? We'll do this on our own. Oh, I got a Labatt I gotta go get.
"Geez,
Yeah.
what kind of Canadian are you?
Not a good one. An American
yeah.
Canadian.
Go get it. Want me to pause it?
Okay, give me 30 seconds. I'll be right
I'll
back.
pause it. I'm pausing, everybody, so you don't have to hear me talk while Joe is going to get a Labatt. He's walking away. Was I supposed to pause it? Okay, here goes. Pausing. Did I forget it? Oh, here it is, the pause button.
That's awful.
All right, buddy.
That was terrible.
Is it Labatt's blue? Do they have another color? Labatt's red? It's code red. Labatt's
It's
code red.
Labatt Blue Red Wings Special Edition.
Dude, what kind of self-respecting Canadian is fucking prostituting themselves for the Red Wings?
Any good Canadian, because look at the
No.
other teams that they have. So a couple of things. I'm like out of breath.
Hey, question. How are the Red Wings doing in the playoffs?
Great. They're undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you know there's hockey playoffs going? It's a good
Yeah.
thing you got the Bruins. You're like, oh, I like the Bruins. I like that sometimes you switch depending on which team is doing better. You're like, yeah, no, really, I'm a Bruins fan. I do that
No,
with the Blackhawks, though.
No, here's the thing. I love the Red Wings, love the Bruins. I always want the Red Wings to win. So I always want the Bruins to win unless they're playing the Red Wings.
And then you want
So
the Red Wings
always
first.
Yeah, Red Wings are always first, then the Bruins. If the Red Wings and the Bruins play, then I want the Red Wings. But yes, like you said, in the playoffs, if the Red Wings are not in it, then I go Bruins.
Okay.
Now,
And
I
then in
did put
football-
money.
In football,
I
you're
did
like
put money on.
Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions, Denver Broncos.
Kind of like Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears. I only like orange and blue teams. Chicago Bears, Denver Broncos, and baseball. You're like Detroit Tigers. I only like orange and blue. That's what you're saying.
Kind of, I guess you're right.
It's a good way to do sports.
Yeah.
It's like your favorite colors.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Well,
Okay, I cut you off. Go ahead.
but I put money on the Florida Panthers winning the Eastern Conference and the Dallas Stars winning the Western. So I need both of them to be in the Stanley Cup.
Well, the Stars are up like what 3-2 against the Avs.
3-2, yeah.
They could close it down. They're
Yeah.
not going to, but
No.
Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
Come on. They could have called them
No.
the Lone Stars. They were that close to having a cool name. They're just like, what is it? Minnesota North Stars? Let's call it Dallas Stars because we're like Cowboys Stars. People get boners over that.
The only thing I think the Lone Stars was already a proprietary
Was it?
team in Texas. That's why they couldn't use Lone Stars. There was some other
Why didn't they just have a shootout?
baseball team or something
No,
like
they
that. So
had
they
to
just
do-
went Stars.
All they had to do was have a duel, some sort of showdown.
Some sort of 30 paces and fire.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What's more Texan than that? Just get out there and shoot each other in the face.
Now,
duel.
I know everyone is riveted to what we've been talking about for the last 6 minutes, but I do have something I want to bring up on this show where we do occasionally talk about music.
Not sports.
Yeah. Let's move on from the sports. I don't think our listeners are
notice-
huge sports fans.
Have you
I mean,
heard of a
they're
sport
fiber nerds. They're like Star
called-
Trek nerds. I don't think they're into sports.
Well, I did write. Have you heard of a sport called Honkey? Did you see that?
No.
Joe, look at the notes. I did it. I helped. I tried.
Right. So let's go
Okay.
let's go to musical direction.
Oh.
So have you seen the clips from Coachella 2024 this year?
No, I haven't. I
So-
not at all have.
So if you haven't heard, Sublime has what was their lead singer's name? Brandon Knoll.
Uh-huh.
What was his? Brad Knoll? Bradley Knoll.
Bradley.
Yeah.
Bradley.
So Bradley Knoll's son has joined Sublime.
No way. I didn't
So
know this.
so he's the new singer / rhythm guitar player.
Really?
His voice is freaking amazing.
Really?
He is so good. What you need to do is go to YouTube, do Sublime Coachella 2024 and listen to Santeria.
Okay.
He has an amazing voice and he throws in like kind of like hardcore, like he'll do certain, like, you know how for me, like I'll sing and then when I hit certain words, like I kind of like get gravelly.
Yeah.
He does that too. So like he'll be like, someone's got a new 40, Papa's daddy's got a new 45. And then he'll be like, something, and I'll stick that straight down Central's throat. Believe me when I say that I got something for your punk ass. And like, he nails it, dude.
That's
it
cool.
sounds so good. So
I
I've
wanna
been
hear
like,
it.
it sounds so good, man. And so I've been like the last couple of days, I've listened to Santeria on YouTube, that clip, like countless times, probably 15, 20 times. And then some of the other songs too, like, what were some of their other big ones? Bad Fish or something like that.
Cat dog. Kitty doggy.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so give it a listen. I don't know his name. I don't know the son's name, but freaking Fred Knoll.
Fred Knoll.
Nick Knoll.
Nick Knoll.
It's a good listen. Now, the other day I was on podcast.
While we're on this subject,
While we're on the subject, I was on a podcast. So a couple weeks ago, I listened to something. I was listening to a stand-up comedian, and a stand-up comedian was talking about how he does things on the internet, how he does things on his shows. And it kind of gave me like a little boost to do stuff with our community. So I posted on Facebook, hey, if anybody wants me to do anything, if there's any way that I could help, whatever little fun things they're into in life, whether that's podcasting, songs, whatever, give me a call. So one of our listeners, Brian Middleton, sent me a song that he did with Ethan Luck.
Yeah.
And so he sent me music to listen to and to record like a chorus. And so I've been working on that, like listening to it, trying to figure out vocally like what I want to do. So I'm kind of helping Brian out. I don't want to say I'm helping him out. He's helping me out by letting me feel relevant and be a part of his art. And so I'm doing that with Brian, not for Brian, but with Brian. And another one of our listeners had called me, I believe it was Caleb. Let me pull up because I don't want to screw this up.
I think instead of trying to dance around that and be like, I'm doing that with Brian, not for him, you should just turn that around. Be like, I am his male slave.
Yes.
I do his bidding, and I live in his basement. No,
I do that. I do his beading, like on all his blouses. I bead it.
Yeah, that's really good. You got a bedazzler.
Yep. And I also have a Appalachian woman that uses all beads made from raccoon bones.
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
dyed with organic paints,
Oh my gosh.
like
Joe.
the Cherokee did in the 1960s.
How do I get you to come and be in my basement and do this right now?
You just got to ask.
Do you ever take a paper clip and you're like, take the small
Dig in
part
your ear?
and you dig in your ear and then you're embarrassed because it's like, holy crap, I am a filthy animal. You look
Yeah.
at it, you're like, I am a filthy animal.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, your turn.
So another person who's a part of our community, his name is Caleb Sorella.
Uh-huh.
And so Caleb has a podcast. You guys should check it out. It's called the Anniversary Album Podcast.
Okay.
And so every week he like reviews albums that came out that week, and he kind of talks about them. So like he'll be like 25 years ago today, this album came out, or 25 years ago this week, this album came out. And so Scallelujah just had its 26th anniversary. And so he had me on his show, which was a bunch of fun. And I was on there for about a half hour chit-chatting about Scallelujah. And what was interesting is I listened to the podcast, when it was all done, and he posted it. And what he did is he talked with one of his co-hosts about Scallelujah. Then it went back to me, and then it went back to them kind of discussing it further. And they talked about in 2024, they feel as though worship music, I might be taking this a little bit wrong, or maybe putting a little bit more harsh of a slant on it, but the way they were talking is they kind of feel that in 2024, praise and worship music is almost like kind of corny.
Yeah.
Like it's done. It's dead. And so I wanted to ask you I know you don't attend church, like you don't go to church anymore. And I don't know how much Christian or worship music you listen to, if any, but is it something that you think is dead? Because this blew my mind, because then I'll kind of fill you in where I am with that.
I don't think it's dead. I feel like it was lucrative to make worship music for the last 10 years. And now people associate the church. I'm gonna hurt some people's feelings, and you're probably gonna disagree with me, but I think like a lot of people associate the church with being the less moral choice. And so to listen to worship music, it doesn't make people feel as good as it once did. And so I think it's on its way out. It's like a popular, lucrative money-making thing.
See, that's weird to me because I was a part of, obviously, kickstarting that whole thing where worship music branched off into genres and metalheads had their own worship and things like that. And I still look back on that. And I mean, I believe if the heart of somebody is like, I believe if like, you know, for me, like if I woke up tomorrow and I was like, I'm going to put together a rap worship album, and then I'm going to put together a hardcore worship album. And I was just looking for ways to capitalize to sell albums. And that was my heart. Like, I believe that's wrong. But then like the bands that are out there and they're doing it, and to go back to the insiders, like we did it because we put out Motor City Ska, and our fans thought that our worship stuff that we did at our shows was going to be on that album.
Yeah.
And our fans were bummed. And so we were like, oh, we don't want our fans to be upset. Like, we want to do what they want. We want to give them what they want. So that's where Scallelujah came from. That didn't come from, hey, let's make a bunch of money and put out a worship album. Like it ended up doing very well because I guess the need was there and it hit at the right time. But I look at bands today like For King and Country and, you know, bands like that like, I guess their art is worship music. And I don't feel that that's dead. Like I get up, it's funny, I don't do it during the week, but on Sunday, I love to get up on Sunday and like crank praise and worship music. Like I have a playlist, you know, on Apple Music, and I crank it, and I always forget his name, Steven. He does like the Celtic worship. Let me pull it up.
Steven Tyler. He wears a lot of scarves around his neck.
Close.
Steven Taylor. He does cartwheels.
Well, this is just called Celtic worship.
He's like, this guy used to be a cute.
If you go to Apple Music and you do Celtic worship, it's this dude, Steven something. And it's great. He does kind of like the staples of worship songs with kind of that Celtic twist to it. It's not rocky. It's not Pogues. It's not the electrics. It's just chill. It's worship music.
Yeah.
And it's great. And like, I love waking up on Sunday mornings and listening to it. And For King and Country, like they got good stuff. And I think there's another one called like The Digital Age or something like that my kids told me about. And I don't know, man. I think I got burned early in my like life. And I know we've talked about this on one of the early, one of the first episodes of this show, where the insiders, I wrote the song Shame on Me. And it was coming from a place where like, who am I to say that like what other people are doing that they feel like the Lord has led them to do?
Yeah.
Like who am I to tell somebody that like it's a money grab or like what they're doing is corny or something like that. And so I don't know, I guess that kind of came up with in listening to that podcast where I kind of felt like I was walking that line again of being like really cynical, and like for me to say or to hear someone say that like For King and Country can't be taken seriously or whatever, or, you know, it's corny because it's like 2024 worship music. Like, and there's people that are just loving Jesus and just getting closer and all that because of it. And so it just their topic that they talked about was fascinating, and it made me think, and that's why I wanted to bring that topic up. Obviously, I've been talking, so go ahead.
I think kind of what pushed it to the forefront was, I mean, there's always been like worship bands, or like
listening. I just got to turn a light on.
Bigger like kind of groups that just do worship, but it was small. It was kind of in church circles, but then I think like Hillsong is like a whole church that started out of Australia, and it's huge. And then they started like Hillsong United, and it kind of pushed it like into the mainstream as like, do you remember when like all of a sudden SoundScan happened. Like they stopped just doing it at record stores or whatever. But then like there was like a point when Metallica, the Black Album was like, it was number one. And then Garth Brooks, they started sound scanning they started computerizing sales instead of just counting like at whatever, like doing like a survey at a number of
I don't remember
stores.
that. I think that was like kind of before I got it into the industry.
Metallica they finally, got like they were Billboard number one with the Black Album, and then Garth Brooks, no offenses, pushed them out. And it was like the same week they started this thing called SoundScan, which was that they computerized, like they were scanning barcodes that went into a computer, and then they were able to track record sales. So suddenly, like the industry was just like, what? Country and Western music sells this much? Like Garth Brooks unseated Metallica, who were just like, they had just unseated like whoever, Guns N' Roses,
The Beatles.
like the Beatles. But then,
Speaking of Beatles, I have the window open, and what I keep looking at is all these Beatles. So you keep talking because I can hear you.
Or do you have a screen? You should have a screen.
No, there's no screen.
You should
But
try and have one.
You keep talking. I can hear you. I'm going to go grab a Kleenex to
Oh
grab
my
these things.
jeez. Okay.
I can hear you.
But like, so that happened, and then when that happened, they also started tracking Christian music in Bible bookstores, and it also changed the world for Christian bands, because instead of it just being like word of mouth, like this person is cool, this thing is good, then all of a sudden Christian music was charting on Billboard, which had never happened before. And not that like that couldn't have happened, it was just there was no mechanism for Billboard to see, oh, wait a second, these guys are selling records too. It just seemed like a niche market. And then all of a sudden they're like, what? Who's Amy Grant? Who's this person that just recorded with Peter Cetera? So it totally pushed it into the mainstream. Joe is throwing, I hope he's flushing them in the toilet. They can escape that way. They go, that's their home. He's just sending them home. He didn't kill them, guys. But it made it so that Christian music all of a sudden was a thing. And record companies started buying up all the small Christian labels because they realized they could make money on it. Like Tooth and Nail and Forefront and all the companies started being bought out or being distributed. Yeah. So then I think as a result of that, the worship music, especially like starting with like Hillsong and stuff, that became lucrative. And I'm not saying those guys were doing it for money, but they make a lot of money. They make a lot of money. People, I mean, like, you don't have like 5 guitar techs unless you're rich. Maybe they spread it all out evenly.
Look at that shine coming off my
You
head.
got a good shine, Joe. I'm glad you turned that light on. Did you get a haircut?
Yeah. No. But back to like the money of it, isn't it supply and demand?
Yeah, and I'm not dogging them for making money at it. I just think it's the problem with it is, and definitely like listening to stuff. I think since Hillsong became popular, there's been this huge movement to make it better, and a lot of people getting involved in it. Maybe just because they think they can make a living at it and doing what they love and, like serving the Lord. That's great. But I think that the general state of Christianity in the United States, or maybe in the world, is that it is becoming less and less of a, like, I feel like most people feel that going to church and being a Christian is less moral than it was 20 years ago. where it was like, hey, you know, like this going to church makes you appear to be morally upright, whereas now it makes you appear to be devious and kind of corrupt, because I think a lot of popular, I don't know. I mean, like, look at Joel Osteen. I don't know his heart, but I think that, like, that you look at memes about him and how, you know, hurricanes happened in Houston and they wouldn't open the doors to their church to people. They didn't help at all. I don't know if that's true, but, like, that's the consensus. Like, people are just like, oh, cool, it's about money. And that is what's seen. And you see, like, a lot of people using Jesus kind of as their mascot in politics. You know, like, we're morally superior and we do this, but we also, it's okay to carpet bomb people. You know, like, Jesus is all about war. And you see all the memes about, like, Jesus shooting guns, or Donald Trump hugging a flag and a cross and all this stuff. And, like, I don't want to, I'm going to say something. I don't think Donald Trump is some morally superior person.
Not at all.
I don't think so. I think he is right now on trial for paying off 2 porn stars to keep their mouth shut that he had affairs with. And I'm like, he's not denying it. He's just like, no, I didn't pay him. That was the other guy. Like, he's not a kind person. He's not, I don't know. I mean, like, staying out of the politics, I just feel like he is not a kind and good person. He's not a role model, for people. Like, and so to staple Jesus to that, which I think happens because I think people feel like if they staple morality to being conservative, you have to do that and use Jesus. You can do that. That's fine. But, like, then be like Jesus. Don't, you know, like, if that's how you're getting votes, then, you know, like, do it. Be like Jesus. You know, stop making it be about getting money, or, I don't know, manufacturing arms.
You think that's where worship has gone?
I just think the world is tired of it. I think they see church and Christianity as being a less moral choice, which is sad. But I think they see that and they're like, these guys are liars. They're not Jesus. They're not acting like Jesus. They're lying. I don't want anything to do with that. So I think that people are checking it out.
Like, I agree with you to a certain point. And here's the thing. The only way I can maybe get my opinion across is by speaking from me personally.
Yeah.
And I've said this on shows prior. And that I grew up, I was a good church kid. I didn't swear. I didn't, fool around with girls. I didn't drink. I didn't, nothing. I didn't do any of that stuff. I was just a good kid. I played sports. I made sure my parents never had to worry about me. Stuff like that. I was a good kid. And I grow up and I'm in the youth group and I'm all that, and I accept Christ into my heart. And, I kind of try to practice what was preached to me. And then the insiders start, and then all of a sudden I'm, a late teen who never went to seminary or anything, who's just singing songs from the heart that deal with, like, my journey with Christianity, or what I see or what I feel or what I'm told I need to feel. And then the insiders ends, and I become like a youth director at my church, and I do all of that stuff. And then I go through a divorce, and
Right.
the divorce completely, like, opened my eyes to everything, because that the pain of, like, your, of your world being rocked, I can look back now and say like I'm in a way better place, like way better place. I thank God every single day. But to go through that, it took that major life change to like pull the scales or pull the veil from my eyes and to realize that, and this is the point that I'm trying to connect with you, that all of that church and the putting up the masks and everything went out the window. And once all that happened, like once you've been broken down to your lowest common denominator, and you realize like when you wake up in the morning that, you know, as you've talked about on this show, going through stuff like with your parents passing and your divorce and losing your job, like there's days where you just wake up and you just want to start screaming at God. And when you've gone through those, and when you've gone through those moments, and I did too. But when you go through it, and even when you're screaming at God, you realize that it's just you and God. You know what I mean? Like you're screaming at the only person who hasn't like abandoned you. Yeah. And even though it feels like it, it's like, it's like you're having a shouting match with a brother or your father, you know, and it's like you still love them, but you still want to say all the stuff that you want to say and clear the air. And it's like, since then, like the way my life has turned and the roller coaster that it is now, where it's just like an amazing spot. Like my kids and I, like our relationship, amazing. My family and I, relationship is amazing, and it's strengthened that. Heidi, like the stuff that I've learned and applied to my relationship with Heidi, and just the woman that she is amazing. And so it took some crazy stuff to make me realize that, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like the truth of Christ. And so in my life now, I feel like I'm the closest I've ever been to Christ. I can only go to church maybe once a month. I listen to it on podcasts. But I feel
church.
I do. I listen to sermons and stuff. Like while I'm at work, but and that type of thing, that you just realize that, like, if you swear, you're not going to hell. If you drink, you're not going to hell.
You got to test it out.
Yeah, maybe. I could be wrong, but no. But, you start to realize, like, all that stuff, and you're just like, the Lord put us on this planet. Like, He gave us the tools. Like, if we accept Him, we know Him as Savior. Like, all of that stuff, we know it. And drink's not going to ruin that. Swearing isn't going to ruin that. Like, all of that stuff that, back in the day, you're told, like, no. It's just like, you know what? If every time you're told no about something, if that's 1 pound that you have to hold, and then all of a sudden, after a year of sermons, you're carrying around this weight, and I feel like I just let that weight go. Yeah. I'm just who I am. I love Jesus. I'm a Christian, but I am who I am. And so if occasionally a swear word flies out, if, occasionally I have a drink, well, more than occasionally, and things like that, like, it's not the Christianity that I grew up with, is what I'm saying, I guess.
Well, but that's like, to come full circle, that's you. Like, the Holy Spirit has changed you.
Yes.
Everybody else who the Holy Spirit is maybe not working on it in the same way looks at how the church behaves, and they're like, the church is not behaving, at least what's making it into the media or making it into the mainstream is not the highest moral choice.
Well, of course, you can't go by the media.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so I live
the
in
media
the
is
South.
never going to be like, hey, this
like,
church down the street in Virginia is great. If you go there, everyone's nice to you. You know what I mean? They're not going to say that. They're going to talk about the pastor who diddled some kid.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's affecting it. I think the other thing is just experience. Like, for every Christian I know that is just like humble and broken and helpful and loving. I know from experience 5 to 10 people who claim to be Christian who aren't. They're mean and backstabbing and not helpful, and they don't care about people. They're not loving. And so, like, it seems fake. I think it seems fake to a lot of people. We're not like the message that is going out in church, that has been going out in church, is just be good. You know, like, you got to be good. You got to be good, and then God will love you. And then, like, however people twist that, like, I'm good because I do this. I go to church. I'm good because I don't cuss. I'm good because I don't drink. Or because, I don't say the N-word.
Or I don't do a line of blow off some dude's thigh.
Yes. But I think the gospel, the message of Christ, is be good to each other. Love God. You should love the Lord God with all your heart, soul, and mind. And then the second greatest commandment is to love one another as yourself. We don't do that. That's not the message we're putting out. We're putting out this message that is like, do you want to be accepted? You got to be good. You want to get to heaven? You got to be good. You can do some things that are bad, but you got to be good in this way. And that's not the gospel. That's not what Jesus preached. He just said, be cool to each other. Like, basically just stop hurting each other. And we don't do that as the church most of the time. And definitely, like, I'm sure that's like what is being shown worldwide, like in the media, that we're not being good. We're not being kind. We're not loving each other or the world. And I think that is demolishing the church. I think there is like going to be an entire generation of people that don't go to church and never get that experience. They never hear worship music because of this. I mean, like, I believe God is real. I believe the Holy Spirit is real, and that he'll keep going without church buildings or without people going to church. But I do think, like, it's hurt the world so much that we're going to have like this whole generation of people that are like, yeah, I didn't know about this because I didn't go to church. Whereas like in the 50s, you had to be moral to appear like you were morally upstanding. You went to church. You didn't get a divorce. You didn't drink. You didn't swear. That made you morally sound. And like now people are like, why should you be in trouble for swearing? If you're not, you're lying. Like, why am I a bad
do
person
agree with you
because
there.
I swear? Or why am I a bad person because I want to dress up like a unicorn? Why am I a bad person because I like, because I like dudes or because whatever? Like, that is not the gospel. Like, if we just love the world, if we just did this one thing we were told to do, the second greatest commandment.
Well, I agree with you in the sense that, like, I think in the media, like, the media doesn't show, like I said, the media doesn't show the good things about church. And I think for those that don't attend church, if all you're ever seeing about the church is what's in mass media, yes, I think your view is skewed on what is going on in churches. And I think if one attended a church, like for me, I've talked about my church before. If I go to my church, I see so many amazing things happening in my church and the relationships that are in my church and things like that, that I think it's not logical to think that that is happening in other churches in my city. So if there's 50 churches in my city, say there's 10 churches in my city, and 50, like, let's 5 of them are what you say. And 5 of them are like, there's great things going on.
No, I think most
That would be
churches
like
have that.
I think that there would be like a microcosm, like a church would be a microcosm of churches all over the country. And so I do think if someone who only sees the bad in mass media, it's unfortunate that they never do experience that. But I think to go to church and to have those relationships and to see the good that does happen within the four walls of churches.
Have you ever gone to a bar where you're just like,
No,
there's like-
never.
okay. If you've never been to a bar, imagine going to Cheers. No, you know, like, have you ever gone to a bar where like everybody knows each other and it's like their hangout place and they're kind of like a family?
And two guys just sit there. But
No.
you're being for
guys.
realsies.
For real. Like, have
Yes.
you ever gone to
Yes.
that? You've seen it.
Yes.
Like, I've
Yeah.
seen it a bunch of times. You go,
Yeah.
bunch of people. The only thing that drew them there was like, I could get a drink. But then they're all friends. They're all helping each other out. Like there is some
1000%.
sort of like storge. There's some sort of familial relationship with these people. Like in the 50s, that would be seen as like amoral. You hang out at bars. I mean, even now, you'd probably be like, dude, come on. Do you have to go back to that bar? But that thing that is seen as amoral it is moral. It is like a thing that we as humans desire. And like, I think God has written in our hearts to love one another and like to be together and take care of each other. That's there. It's part of that. And it's a completely like, listening to society, our societal values, and especially church values, it's not a moral thing to do. I think that exists. I think that church is seen that way to a lot of people now. Like, it's amoral. You get there, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I don't know, I've never really been to a church where I've been like, oh my gosh, these guys are dicks. Actually, we've played at a couple. But going to churches, like usually you're like, you find even one old lady and you're just like, that lady is so cool. Like, I want to change my life around. She's so sweet and nice. And, she came up and shook my hand or whatever, it didn't seem fake. I was in a sea of fakeness and and this lady was so cool to me in general. Patty loves us. And I was changed a little bit that day. Like, I think that can not just can, but I think it does happen in every church.
Yeah.
That stuff. But to get to that point, you have to see that.
Go through a lot of crap.
Well, and I think the world is like, they see it as amoral, like as not being a good thing. You're not a good person if you go to church because of the way that we've been behaving for so long. That's how it's perceived. So worship music, to come full circle, I don't think it's doing as well because less people are going to church. Not that it's bad. I mean, musically, I think it's simple. I think that's part of it. And I think like as a musician, you could probably be like, this is boring, but that's just not your thing. I think lots of people love it. And I love a lot of worship songs. It's not my jam, but I love it. Sometimes I think, like to get to that point where you're going to listen to it, you have to at least be brought up in it. So you see that where Jesus has changed you inside so that you are like, this is great. They're saying something I also feel like worshiping God. I like doing this together with these guys. Or somehow you get to that point where you cross that threshold of a church and you hear it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. I wish we were nicer.
Yeah.
I wish the church was nicer and then people didn't think we were fake.
Well, people on the Diabolical Discussion page, tell us what you think about worship, start a couple of threads. Tell us what you think. Tell us what Reese just said. If you agree with him, if you disagree, tell us if you know of any good worship bands. Tell us any good songs. Like, I want to kind of further explore all areas of this topic of worship that Caleb brought up, because it hit me today, and it's interesting because in my world, I didn't think that like worship passed me by, or passed the world by, or the world passed by it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, but I'm not wording it right. But
Sounds like the
I just know, like,
you did.
Like, I just know in my world and my kids' world, like, my kids listen to lots of worship music, and they listen to everything else too, you know? And like I said, I love it. I still enjoy it. I still listen to songs, and I think, man, if we did Hallelujah 3, I could make this song sound amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us on the Diabolical discussion page what you think of all this, and we're going to leave you with that. So you got like a little 45-minute banger this week, freebie.
I just want to encourage you guys to think about it, because you could literally make hundreds of dollars.
And then you can buy more Patreon.
No, like you guys, the
us.
insiders. You can make hundreds of dollars if you make Hallelujah 3.
See, what's funny is like that never crosses my mind.
Hundreds of dollars.
What crosses my mind is I want to see, like, have you heard the worship song, like, I think it's called King of Kings? And I think it just came out recently. When I say recently, like maybe in like the last 5 years. King of Kings. And Hillsong, like you said, Hillsong, I believe, wrote it. But like, it's like I hear that and I'm like, man, I'd love to get a shot at that, like with the insiders. And the thing is, like, the dollars and cents like never factor into it. I'm just like, man,
you guys are selling 1 million albums.
Well, right, but still,
When
like,
you
the
were doing
motivation.
that,
The
you
motivation
guys
is
did
just
have health insurance, so, and I'm bitter about that.
Yeah. But the motivation is still there to like make an awesome like worship song, something that I'd want to like kind of, I don't know, put my own spin on it. So that's that, you guys. I'm tired. Reese is tired. Heidi is tired. And so I'm going to go down and rub her shoulders and feet until she goes to sleep.
Feed her some corn.
And feed her some corn. She's
Don't feed
she's
her
up
any
to like
corn, Joe. That's a waste. You got to do corn on the cup.
I think she's at 16 ears of corn.
Oh my God.
So she's a quarter of the way there.
To 60.
She's a corner of the way there. Corner of the way there.
You think she'll go for 100? She's going to save that for next year.
I'll be honest with you, man. She hit the cornculator hard and she felt it. Like one day she's like, my stomach hurts so bad, like my abdomen hurts. And it was because, I told you last time, it's because she was crapping out payday. Just nothing but corn. Nothing but corn. Yeah. So we'll leave you guys with that. Don't think that we're going to just walk away talking about worship and be above board. No, we had to leave you
about
with
eating a payday.
Yeah. So, all right, you guys, we'll see you. Bye.
Eat some pizza.
My soul like to wait till I get by, find of my own. Daddy's gonna love one. Feel the break, feel the break, feel the break, and I got to.